everybody. Rusty Albertson, Director of Communications for St. Mark the Evangelist Catholic Church, joined once again by a great friend, Steve Helmich. Steve, how have you been?
I've been great, Rusty, thank you. Yeah, busy.
Great start to the Advent season.
It's been wonderful. I think there's something in the air at St. Mark around Advent and people being conscious that this is a time of the year where we need to pause
Amen.
Just a minute and slow down just a bit in the crazy world that we live in.
And speaking of that, you've got several activities coming up. Give us a little bit of first of all, for maybe some that first time joining us, want to know what the MMA is. Give me a little brief overview of what you guys do.
Sure. MMA, Ministry for Maturing Adults. We always kid. It's not mixed martial arts because our folks are 60 years of age and older. The target audience, the folks that we're trying to serve and work with are 60 years of age and older. And there are 5 key components of this ministry. The first and really foundational, spiritual growth, faith formation. There's a component around continued learning. A really good example, just recently, parishioner Dan O'Brien did a workshop on Medicare supplements.
Right.
We're in that time of the year, people are watching television, they're certainly aware that it's that time of the year. So just information that people 60 and older work focused kinds of things as people begin to make that transition. Opportunities to serve, opportunities to be served. There'll be a time where all of us will need to be served in some way. And then finally, the last piece is maybe the most familiar to people, social activities, social events, gatherings, community building. So yeah, 5 areas that we try to focus on, and it's getting busy again.
Yeah, and sometimes a lot of your events will incorporate more than just one of those.
Absolutely.
They will overlap in that. And you got a big one coming up pretty soon. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, we have a Christmas luncheon coming up on December 9th. It will be here at St. Mark. It will be in Monsignor Schaefer Hall. That's a Friday. It begins at 11:30. It's just a wonderful time. It's a time, I think, that people can pause for just a minute and acknowledge Advent and acknowledge Christmas in an appropriate way. Our parishioner, Katie Harmon, will be providing Christmas music by piano as folks arrive.
That's awesome.
And then we're really excited this year. We're going to have 2 choirs who will be performing. St. Mark Catholic Grade School Choir will be on hand, and also we're going to see the Roncalli Choir.
That's awesome.
This year. So we're very excited. The food is always great. It's a catered meal, an opportunity to support a worthy event. This year, Birthline is the beneficiary, so folks can check Bulletin and other places, but there's things that they need, diapers and wipes and other kinds of things. But it's a great event, great music, great food, and really a very joyous event. So we're very excited. December 9th, 11:30 here. All you have to do is contact the parish office, give them your name. There is a cost. It's $12 to attend, but all they need to do is give the name, and then we can collect the fee.
Are you also taking donations there at the door for things?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Birthline would be a recipient. People oftentimes like to bring toys, and we certainly have organizations that are hopeful that folks, either with Birthline or with the toys, will be supportive again this year.
Now, somebody who's forgetful like me, can they walk in and pay at the door?
They can walk in and pay. We hope there's not a lot of that, only because we want to keep the food adequately ordered. But no, people can show up at the door the day of the event. We'll have our MMA volunteers there ready to get them registered.
Yeah, and not to get you off topic, but I'm blessed to get your emails that you send out to the church and the parishioners and to the staff. And I see the really high need, it seems, of people who are needing extra assistance this time of year. Tell us a little bit about what your ministry does to help with that.
Yeah, and I'm glad, Rusty, that you asked that question. That really began, that real deep appreciation and understanding of the needs of people began with COVID. We were so concerned that we would have parishioners without food. having a very, very important doctor's appointment and not able to get there. So there are components. This is that opportunity to serve and also opportunity to be served. One of the things that happens is we have a wonderful ministry. It's not meant to be Meals on Wheels, but it does provide some wonderful food. Cleo Coyle and her team, it's called Provisions from the Heart. Every other Wednesday they prepare meals. It's usually enough for 2 or 3 meals. Today was one of those delivery days. Transportation, I'm the person who's trying to help make sure everyone gets everywhere that they want and need to go. So I'm the coordinator of transportation. A lot of times people find that they have some minor home repairs, some things that need to be fixed, as simple as light bulbs being changed or smoke detectors checked. Dan O'Brien heads a ministry called the Handyman Ministry
That's awesome.
Really goes in at no cost to folks to make sure that their home is as safe as it can possibly be. And we're really excited that we have a relationship with an organization that can really go above and beyond what we may be able to do as lay folks. That organization is SACOA, Central Indiana Coalition on Aging, Council on Aging. And it's an area agency for aging. They serve Marion County and all the donut counties. And we have the ability to transport people. We go to the Greenwood Social, the Social in Greenwood, Indiana. It's a senior center. And we are actually able to get people in touch with their intake coordinators. And this is meals, assistance at home. SACOA's great pursuit is to make it possible for people to stay in their home, their apartment, safely as long as they possibly can. You know this and I know this as we get a bit older, and we've had parents and friends and relatives who have had some health issues, they've aged, and they don't want to go to an assisted living facility if at all possible. And SACOA, this Central Indiana Council on Aging, really provides the kind of really hardcore services that are needed so people can stay there.
For those people that are watching or parishioners that might not live right here in Marion County, do they get to reach some of the donut areas outside?
Absolutely, yes. They serve Marion County and all of the surrounding counties. So virtually every parishioner that I'm aware of would certainly would be served and have access.
That's awesome.
Through SACOA. Yeah. So you're right. It's that time of the year with weather, darkness, driving, transportation, getting to the grocery, getting to doctor's appointments, those kinds of things. MMA is here to help, and we just want to get the word out. And thanks to you, we see a real increase in the number of people who are aware that we don't want any parishioner at St. Mark to have a very significant need in their life. We can't solve all problems, but if there is a challenge of some kind, we're finding that we're really pretty good at either providing what they need or getting them to an organization like SACOA.
And I think too, part of what I think as people get older, my parents are both 84 years old and still live on their farm, they're blessed. But a lot of people who either lost a spouse or one thing I think they really struggle with is just companionship.
Oh, absolutely.
And you guys, when you do all these other little things for them, it provides that.
Yeah. Well, we have something, and we're actually recruiting for folks for what we call our telephone contact team, TCT. And this is just a group of individuals, volunteers, who are given a relatively small number, 4 or 5 people, and they're asked to call them once every couple of weeks. It's not hopefully overly burdensome for people. It's a wellness check call. Oftentimes friendships are developed, and so the calls oftentimes take place more than every 2 weeks. But this is a way in which we can find out, is there a need? Are you doing okay? And we capture that information. Carolyn Bundy is the sort of the coordinator of the data, and Margaret Simonette is the person who coordinates that. And we're looking for some callers right now.
Before we go too far, I always forget to do this, but after I'm done, when I edit this, I can put words on the screen. So can you give everybody your email address? If
Yes.
they any questions about MMA, they can contact you?
Yes, and it's Steve Helmich.
It's right there on the screen.
And it's Steve Helmich 50@gmail.com. I check it all the time. And my phone number, you can call or text. It's 317-903-9657. They
Awesome.
can call or text. And I can get folks then connected with the ministry leaders, with the organizations, the agencies.
Whether they want to volunteer or they have a need, either one,
Absolutely.
they can contact you.
Absolutely.
Or they just want more information.
And you know, it's that time of the year, winter, darkness. We're still not through the flu, the RSV, COVID. I was just talking with someone today that I was going to visit who said, I really would encourage you not to come. We have several cases of COVID on our floor. And so I took his advice.
Sure.
and didn't make that trip. But we don't want people to be lonely. I've found over and over again that there's this human need to be connected. And if there isn't anything else as a parish that we could and should be doing, it's to make people feel that they are loved and welcomed.
Absolutely.
And that they are part of a community of people here. And another example would be our snail mail ministry, where people come together and write cards, letters to people, simply saying, we know you're out there, we care about you. Oftentimes, that also creates a relationship. I get calls periodically from people, and my sense is that their original reason for calling is to ask a very specific question,
right.
But pretty quickly it becomes clear they're lonely and they
Sure.
want to talk with someone.
Sure.
And it's just a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
My wife laughs just a little bit. She hears some of the conversations. She said, you sound like a social worker. My wife Cindy was a lifelong social worker. She said, wow. But I said, it is just wonderful to talk with people and hear their stories and be able to listen. And I think if we in this parish can really become that parish that listens, that cares, that loves, and prays.
Absolutely. I was just going to say that when you were thinking of that, what a golden opportunity to not only help increase their faith, but our own.
Absolutely.
By praying with them and being very specific in our prayers with them and their needs. So,
and we all have needs. I have people ask me often, well, what are you learning from all this? You guys have been doing this 4 years now. And I tell them, well, I've learned so much that I could write a book, and I truly mean that. But, you know, most of it's pretty fundamental.
Sure.
Most of it is that there are certain people who are lonely. There are certain people who have gifts that are looking, how do I use these gifts?
Humanistic needs. I mean, we all, you know.
Yeah. Our society would suggest that maybe that's not where we need to be, and that's not what we need to be doing. I would suggest to those folks, I very humbly disagree. People want to be loved, they want to be cared for, they want to be known, they want to be able to tell their story.
Yeah.
And I think this parish at this particular time has tremendous potential to become known as one of the most loving, caring parishes, church communities, any place.
And I think too, I was thinking on my way in here today on the drive in, you know, we moved down a little further away, so I get to think more on the way in. Yeah. I was thinking that as the director of Myanmar Outreach, myself, our Myanmar population is starting to get population that are getting older. Yep. And I visited a couple of homes where their grandparents live with their children. Yep. So I think that it's, you know, not only more loving, but we're obviously more diverse. Yep. And I think that as we get older, those stories that we share, or they can share with us, man, it's just like taking a college class sometimes.
Well, I was given an assignment. We had a MMA steering committee meeting a Sunday ago now, and I was given a very specific assignment, and I happened to see Rose Ali in the office.
Sure.
And I said, I've been instructed to meet with you because we want to find those bridges. We want to find those connections. Because we are a faith community, and we do need to be connected, and we need to be aware
Sure.
And I think you're absolutely right, Rusty. Some of the stories we would hear would be so humbling
Yeah.
and so powerful.
They're life-changing.
Life-changing, absolutely
Yeah.
life-changing. Yeah.
So coming up, what do you guys got coming up past the Christmas? Some things that you've got that we can share with the audience.
Yeah, I would hope that we have some folks out there who would be interested in something we're going to do on Saturday, December 17th. It's called the Big Bake Event 2.0.
Wow.
And this is a fun one, but it's also one, as you say, there'll be prayer involved, there'll be community involved, and there'll be service involved, because we're going to bring some Roncalli students, some St. Mark students from the upper grades at St. Mark, some St. Mark maturing adults, and we're going to bake Christmas goodies.
Awesome.
And then the group, that combined group of Roncalli students and St. Mark students and maturing adults from St. Mark, will package those goodies. We'll then pause to have lunch.
Awesome.
We'll just sit down and talk, and those conversations are just wonderful, where the high school students are sharing what it's like to be a high school student today, or a grade school, upper grade school student. And it's interesting to watch the young people listen attentively to the stories that some of our more senior adults share. That's Saturday the 17th, starts at 11 o'clock.
Where do the cookies end up going?
Well, the cookies end up going to our homebound elders of St. Mark. We've been able over time to put together a pretty solid list of people who are homebound, who don't drive, so we'll take them the goodies. There'll be some reading material, usually letters from some of the kids that are included in that. So if folks are interested, we'd love to have them participate. We can always use a few more hands.
So you're looking for probably middle school age students, high school age students, and maturing adults.
And then to our any of our adults.
Any costs, any materials they need to bring?
Nope. Everything's provided. If they come, all we need is their time, their effort, and their energy.
Awesome.
And we'll need a few of the adults to help deliver some of the packages of goodies, but that's
you need
coming
taste
up
testers?
Well, I handle a good portion of that and to make sure that it's okay. And I could mention one other thing that we want to get out there, and this could be, I think, a wonderful, wonderful event for our parish. It's a study of St. Joseph, and it's going to be on 2 Monday evenings, January 16th and January 23rd, 2 consecutive Mondays. It'll be in Schaefer Hall and here in the church. Sort of 2 different parts of the program. All men of the parish are encouraged to attend, from high school students to young men still in the workforce, men, and of course our maturing adults. I think it could be very powerful to have a church filled of men who are learning about one of our great saints, the virtues. I've been doing some reading about St. Joseph more recently to sort of help myself think about how we put this together. Boy, there are a lot of lessons to learn from St. Joseph.
Absolutely.
There'll be a couple of wonderful videos, one very specifically on St. Joseph, one on St. Joseph Morello, who started the Oblates of St. Joseph, and a remarkable man. Father Tim, Deacon Paul, Deacon Nick will be speaking on St. Joseph.
That's great.
A little bit of social time so we can have folks gather and meet one another, and some really wonderful printed materials that the men will be able to take with them.
And you think about the importance of St. Joseph as a father and what he did to influence his son. And we don't ever hardly think of that, but it went from the age of a baby up to the age that in the 30s, he was a direct influence on things that he did.
I just wish he would have been quoted more in the Bible. I would have liked to have
more reading for you.
A little more content from St. Joseph. But
what's the dates and times on that again?
Yes, it's January 16th and the following Monday, the 23rd. It's a 2-parter, 6 to 8 o'clock here at St. Mark. No cost.
Is it geared more for the men of the parish?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, geared for the men of the parish.
Awesome.
We hope a large group will come. It's one of those times where I think that some of our more mature men can learn from our younger men, and certainly our younger men can learn from.
And that's a neat balance, because we have Mary's Way already for the women. What a neat idea to not only for the men to come together to learn Scripture and the Gospel and the readings, but to learn specifically about St. Joseph.
Yeah, well, he's a tremendous role model. I mean, behind Mary, when
he had to be the original husband of the year.
He had to be the husband of the year. To do what he did, to be told what he was to do, to protect Mary,
acceptance that he had,
Jesus, to be his earthly father and educate him.
They're giving it all away now, so I know you're fine. Yeah.
Well, they probably know more about St. Joseph than I do, but I think it's going to be a wonderful event, and again, I've watched the video materials we're going to see. They're great. I've looked at the printed materials that all the attendees will be given, and I know that Father Tim and the deacons will deliver. And
they'll fill us with knowledge like they always do.
Like they always do.
Yeah. Well, listen, it sounds like you've got taking all the way up through the middle of January, and I know you have much past that, so we'll meet again shortly after the first year. But I always appreciate you coming in. I appreciate the chance to sit down and listen to what I think is probably one of the most vibrant ministries in our church, and I mean that wholeheartedly. And I'm certainly, I just turned 60. I haven't really immersed myself into that because you know how you feel like you want to stay young, but I don't really want to stay young.
Well, that's one of the things that I think we need to acknowledge, that we all get older.
Absolutely.
And none of us get out of this alive, and so thinking about how we spend this fourth quarter, these last chapters of our lives with purpose, is really an important thing. So, and we really appreciate what you're doing to help us get the word out, the message out. I know that I get feedback when folks watch these.
I actually had a couple parishioners last Sunday said, "When are you going to do another?" I just did one last week. I said, "We'll have another one pretty quickly." And yours, I look on how many views we have, is much more than Father Tim even. Maybe they get tired of hearing him. I don't know. But we appreciate again all that you're doing. We look forward to seeing the upcoming events. Definitely, the Christmas get together is always something I look forward to.
It's great. Yeah, music. People love Christmas music, and I know the St. Mark kids want to come in and sit on the floor and watch the Roncalli kids perform.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of those kids will head down to Roncalli Sunday and hopefully become a part of their choir program.
Absolutely. And we'll probably have some St. Mark kids in the Roncalli choir that will be coming back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I know there are.
Well, we appreciate your time. We hope you and your family have a great start of the Advent season and Christmas season.
It's been wonderful so far. Same to you and all in the Albertson clan.
Thank you very much. We will look forward to seeing you soon. We hope everybody has a great first full week of Advent. We will talk with you soon. Peace, everybody.
Peace.